Good afternoon, YouTube. Today we're going to do something a little different, and everybody knows that I like to do things on a budget, and that includes dinner. And this is going to be making a salmon loaf on a budget, and the salmon loaf will be a couple people. And what I want to go over here is the various different things, and you'll notice there are 2 cans of the pink salmon there. That's the Ship Ahoy and the Bumblebee, and I've used that in other types of salmon too, some of the cheaper ones. So far, I find the Ship Ahoy pink salmon to taste the best. The Bumblebee, I normally don't buy unless it's on sale. That's usually around $3 to $4 a can. I get it when it's on sale for $2.50. Same with the Alaska pink salmon. Now, if you don't want to use the Alaskan salmon, you can use the mackerel. That can of Dutchess mackerel, and the recipe is exactly the same. Just dump it in variously, and it'll work the same no matter what. And that's about $1.50 can for what I get it. So we'll go through how to make this, and I'll show you how everything's done, and then I'll show you what the cost is for how much it is to make it for the meal you're going to have. So we'll get started. So here's the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need your can of salmon, 1 can, right around 14-15 ounce, 2 eggs, butter, and breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs usually average out between, I try to say, around 3/4 a cup. I always tend to add a little bit more, not much. You'll know, it's kind of one of those things I'll show you when I'm making it. It's one of the things you have to kind of do depending on which can you use. Some have more juice and water than others. Some don't. The eggs, beaten, butter, that's always usually 1/3 cup of butter. And this is pretty much it. You can add salt and pepper to taste if you wish. I don't find that I need it. So we'll get started and do the salmon and then go to the eggs. Okay, here we have the salmon in the bowl. Now you notice I have all the juice in there with it. Do not drain that. When you open the can, dump everything in there, including that juice. That helps with the moisture and everything when you're making it. Now you'll notice these bones here. Okay, those bones right there, you're going to want to get them out. They will cook. I mean, you can chew on them, and they're more of an annoyance, but I tend to get them out. So just take your fork and pull them out, and then discard them. I usually just throw them right in the empty can and then go from there, and I'll show you what's next. Okay, here's what you want your salmon to look like when it's all said and done. You want a nice little, very mashed down to the fork, kind of like a pate. You want it to look kind of like that. And then you're going to go ahead, once you got your salmon like that, add your eggs, 2 eggs beaten. And your breadcrumbs. And again, I've got this out to about 3/4 a cup. I usually end up adding more, but I'll see with this recipe. I'll show you when I'm done. And next will be the 1/3 cup of butter. I got to warm that up, but 1/3 cup of melted butter will go in here next. Okay, here's everything with all the ingredients mixed in. 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs. Didn't have to add any more. The 1/3 cup melted butter. The 2 eggs and a can of salmon. Now you can see the consistency of this here. You can see this is what you want. You don't want it too moist. You don't want it watery. You want to be able to do this. See how this is and how nice the consistency is here. This is what you want. Okay, so now that we got everything, preheat your oven, turn it on for 350 degrees, and get your loaf pan or your baking pan you're using. Preferably a loaf pan works the best. And we'll get ready to put it in there, and I'll show you what it looks like before it goes in the oven. Okay, here's the loaf all ready to go in the pan. Spread it out nice and evenly in the corners. Make sure you spray the pan good before you put it in there so it doesn't stick. And set your oven for 350 degrees. And mine, I've got it pretty much set that at 50 minutes it's good. I mean, it's good to go right at the 50-minute mark. Your oven might be different, so I'd say start off at 40 to check it out first to make sure you don't overcook it and dry it out. But I'll show you what it looks like when I come back at the 50-minute mark, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Well, here you go, guys. Here's the finished product. Here's the finished salmon loaf. Here's what it looks like when it's done. And this is after 50 minutes on 350 degrees. I advise you to check your oven Check it at 40 minutes, and if it looks like this or close to this, it's pretty much done. But here it is, the simple, easy budget salmon loaf, and I'll go through all the numbers in a little while after I eat dinner, and I'll show you how much this actually costs to make for one loaf for the whole entire thing per cost. See you then.